All right, so I have my trifecta of HBCU experts with me. I have to ask you all, the HBCU experience is so vast and it's been here for hundreds of years, but there is still so much to accomplish in the future of what we hope for our HBCUs. So if you could think of a perfect world and in next steps of what you would like to see HBCU culture accomplish. Dr. Williams, I want to start with you with that question because it is a large question, but with your experience at the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, I think you can start us off in a great way. And also, ladies, we can eat as well. We can take a couple of bites. But, you know, I'm giving you the harder work as the gentleman in the room.
So you let them eat.
Exactly.
You're gonna ask me the question.
Yes. But no, start us off. What would you like to see done next in a perfect HBCU culture with the next steps? What would you like to see?
I think, the HBCU brand is at the highest it's ever been. We have so many people in this country and in this world talking about the quality that comes out of our institutions. We've been doing this for over 150 years, and so we know about excellence. And now all of a sudden, the world is looking in and saying, look at this. I was Howard University president, and we got Howard alums here, said that they got 32,000 applications.
Wow.
For admissions to that great institution, but they only have 2,500 seats. Where we are right now with HBCUs, our brand is at the highest it's ever been. I mean, it's extremely positive. When you say HBCUs, people, they react to it. And this is our moment to leverage that, to encourage others to share with them what we already know. Now they're getting a peek looking inside, but we've always known that these institutions have produced quality and excellence at the highest level.
Yes.
So when you're looking at next steps, I just think continue to lift up these institutions to create that sustainability, and we'll see more and more people coming to our great institutions.
Former students. Angel, I'll go next with you.
Yeah, I would echo that, right? I think for me though, as a Bison alumni twice, right? I went to Howard undergrad and grad school, which just means they get all my money. I would also love to see HBCUs be the first choice, right? I feel like a lot of times HBCUs are like the backup for a lot of students, and they aren't seen as elite and prestigious. They're seen as like, oh, it's a good school for an HBCU, right? And it's like, no, Howard is an elite institution, period, right? Across all boards, like we can look at it that way, and not just this like second tier thing that we do when we talk about colleges. We talk about colleges as a whole and then HBCUs as if they're not a part of the broader conversation.
And I actually think that's changing though. Yeah. I will say, like, even some of the Gen Z students I've talked to, they're like, no, right, I'm going to an HBCU. Like that's, and it's almost like the Different World era, right? Where like people had that. I know you watched A Different World, and as an HBCU grad for also undergrad and grad, talk to me about what you would like to see now as a professor happen next.
So next, I would like for businesses, the very large corporate, the top of the round businesses give, because there's so many deficits. I mean, there's a shortage of healthcare professionals, and we need to, COVID taught us, when you're sick and you can't breathe, you need a doctor. Yeah. It doesn't matter how you look. So we've got to support our HBCUs, increase giving and ongoing support so that we can have the healthcare professionals that we need to take care of all patients, because there's a shortage of all healthcare practitioners at this point, and we need more doctors. But in order to get that, they need scholarships, we need funding, we need more faculty. But we teach an elite education, and the graduates are just fantastic. They go out and they do well, but they're overworked because of the shortages across the nation. So we need that funding.
Yes. One thing we also learned during the pandemic, that need of more doctors, but more Black doctors. Yes. That's critical, because our community was affected probably worse than any other community with that. And we know about the health disparities that exist in our community. And it's important for us to have people in that hospital who look like us and because it gives you a different level of comfort. And so that's what HBCUs can do for this country and for the Black community.
I love that. And look, Dr. Williams, I have to ask you because you might know the stats on this and even just some great stories around it, but how does an HBCU education give our students and our graduates an edge in the job market? How does it help them have more of a competitive, place when it comes out to, I'm graduating, I have a business degree from Howard. What does this look like for me? What have you seen in our HBCU grads?
What I can say as a former college president of an HBCU and also two boys who graduated from Howard University, and recognizing when they walked out that door after graduation, they had a job. They had a job in a career. One is an accountant, the other one is a business major, and he's in law school. Both from HBCUs, and the quality that exists at these institutions, when you leave there, you are ready to tackle the world, and you don't have any fears. Because that constant excellence, being part of the environment. When you're walking around on those campuses and you see all these names of these great giants, African American giants, and you can see yourselves doing those things. When you think about the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, graduated from Howard University. You think about that, what that will do in your psyche in terms of how it make you feel, and also the confidence that you have when you walk in that corporate boardroom, and you have that. And that's what HBCU can do, and I can guarantee you that.
Yes. Ooh, that's really good. That's really good. And I have to ask, Dr. Peppers, on the other side of it, as a professor, as a director of oral radiology, did I say it right?
Yes.
Someone say it right. You pour into your students in so many other ways. As a person who did not attend HBCU, regrettably, my teachers never poured into me in the way I see you pouring into your students.
Yes.
What would you think, why is there such a major difference on your campuses, especially at HBCUs? What makes you as a professor want to pour so deeply into your students?
Well, we know that, as Dr. Williams stated, you have to push excellence because you may be the only minority in your particular business, in your accounting firm, at the hospital. So there's a great responsibility for you to get out and do well and bring others to your institution. So you want to make a mark that Howard University and the HBCU market is great. And look at me, I'm working hard, I'm one of the top here in the organization. And this is where I've graduated from the HBCU. And we, at the College of Dentistry, have people from 31 countries, and we have minorities who go back and practice in various cities across the nation and very small rural, places where they don't have a Black doctor at all. So they have to go and make their mark, and also encourage the patients to come in. Encourage the patients that you need to take care of your health. And we need funding to help get more Black and minority and dark faces in these communities practicing.
So I feel like I would not have made it through Howard had it not been for the nurturing that you asked your mom about, right? Like, having been a student at Howard, when I was an undergrad, I think my sophomore year, both of my brothers were locked up and subsequently sentenced to life in prison. I felt embarrassed about that for months. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't know how to tell my professors why I couldn't come to class or why things weren't getting turned in on time. But then I immediately realized that, not immediately, but I soon realized that, these are my people. Like, what I'm experiencing is what our people experience, right? Like, unfortunately, mass incarceration is too much a part of our culture. So I can tell my teacher, and I told my professors, and it was like this weight had been lifted, and my professors surrounded me like uncles and aunties and grandmas and granddaddies do, right? And they made me feel like it was gonna be okay. It was like, why didn't you come to us sooner, right? And it was in that moment that I was like, I am so glad I'm at this school, because I don't know that I would have received that warmth and understanding at a white school. Like, I needed my teachers, my professors to show up for me with this nurturing, maternal, paternal, kind of energy to help get me through.
We call it personalized care.
Yeah.
Because we give people from all walks. Some people are very disadvantaged when they come into the school. They haven't been away from their families. and other people are much more well-rounded, but they have other problems.
Yeah.
So we have to be there, and we have to push them, and we have lots of mentorship, not just with the professors, but we use our students after they get to be upperclassmen.
Yeah.
Each student gets 2 or 3 mentors to pull them along the way, because we need some help. We can't do, mentor everybody and get one-on-one care. We try, but the larger problems, we have to handle that, and we have to say, okay, if this has happened to you, you fell down, get back up and let's get going. And let's get back to excellence. And so that's what we do.
That's beautiful. The tribe, we carry that tribal mentality, you know, from our ancestors, and it's going to continue, and I think it continues into our HBCU culture. Now, I have to ask this question to the table, because some people did not go to an HBCU, unfortunately. And some people, might be too young, or maybe it's, they're past schooling age, but they want to start the growth mindset, the abundance mindset, that I can do all excellent things, and I am a Black person, and so I should be able to do it, well. They want to start that within their households today. And they might not have had a Howard. They might not have had, a place where they felt safe and seen. So what would you say to those people who want to start building a growth mindset, a wealth mindset in their house today to create a pathway to success? Maybe similar to what you've created, or you've created.
I would say, if you have someone that's ready to go to college, or you have someone that's, that's thinking about college, you got to be talking about it in your household. Go to an HBCU campus.
Ooh.
Find one in your community. We have 101 in the United States, and you can find one and just walk on the campus and look at the names on the wall, on the buildings. And all those names are going to be names that look like you. Okay, and just kind of think about that, and you can feed that into them really early on in the process. And when they get that, they're not gonna, they're gonna feel this confidence, as Dr. Peppers referenced earlier about the quality. I get up every day because I work at the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, a 2-time HBCU graduate. Graduated top of his class at Lincoln University, one of the oldest HBCUs in the country. And then he went on to Howard University and graduated there, at the top of his class there, and he argued before the Supreme Court 32 times and won 29 cases. One of the greatest Supreme Court justices to ever live graduated from an HBCU. So when you see that, that's gonna just boost up your confidence. So that's what I would do.
I would add to that we need to also show young people examples of Black excellence every day. Right, just in an everyday person. Because for kids like me, right, showing me a college campus, I grew up in DC, so going on Howard's campus was nothing to us, right? We went on Howard's campus all the time, but that still didn't feel attainable because nobody in my house went to college, nobody around me went to college, so that wouldn't motivate me, right? I need to see somebody in my community who looks like me, which is why I'm committed to going back, right? I spend a lot of my times in youth jails and in communities giving back and serving, because I know that they need to see somebody who speaks like them, who doesn't code switch, who can speak their language and understand them, and not somebody who never had to overcome anything, go to college, right? That's easy. You show me somebody who was raised in a 2-parent household, both parents went to college and they graduated, of course you should. How dare you not, right? But show me somebody who overcame something and they went on and went to college. Those are the kids who really need to see the examples of Black excellence more than anybody else. The others are going to be excellent by default.
But I love that. I love that.
That's good.
Make it. You put it in. You just put it in the food. Just make it part of what you do. What you do every day.
And we got to believe in it. We have to believe that it's possible for them, right? As adults, we have to believe it's possible for them so they can believe it, right? And not be so shocked when it happens. When folks were, when the Obama's kids got accepted to these elite universities, people were shocked, and I'm like, where else would they have gone? Where did you think she was gonna go, right? And granted, there's not taking away anything from the experience, because it's beautiful, and that's what we all want for our families, right? We don't want to perpetuate cycles of poverty and struggle, but I think we have to show up for those who need us the most, and I think that's the charge for me as an HBCU graduate. That's what I felt like my personal charge was to reach back and bring somebody along with me that might be struggling on their journey.
Yes. What about you, Mom. I mean, Angel was talking about the excellent by default. I mean, I had look, that was very much my experience, right?
You would have kicked her butt had she not been who she is.
Huh?
Yeah, indeed.
Now
She graduated from HBCU.
Yes,
she did.
Yes.
Like, but I think the big right. And so in your mind and in your experience, how did you ensure that we knew that there were endless, boundless pathways to success, even though default excellence was expected, right?
Well, I took you on Howard's campus as a baby to show you that this is where many people, the first time, college grads came, and I taught you about the level of excellence that it takes. And so, and you learned about the family and the camaraderie and the culture. And as I said before, we give personalized care because we do reach back. We try to market in communities of underserved early on, while kids are in high school. We have kids rotate through the Howard University College of Dentistry. Our dean is always giving back. We go to some of the neighborhoods in Southeast and talk with elementary kids about going into health professions and what you need to do and how you need the grades. So we always give back and we always push. And it is just so important to let them know that we are a place of excellence, but you'll feel like family. We will be there for you. We'll help you make it through because many of the students that come from disadvantaged communities don't think they can make it. They don't have the home support. So there we are with the home support, like you say, with the auntie, with the grandma, and we help push them through. So it's in our blood, and we have a fabulous team of deans that teach that. So we all, the mentorship and the reaching out early. You have to go to middle schools. Howard has a middle school,
right?
And that's why middle school's on campus so that they can see that excellence and attend their program on campus. So it's very, very personalized.
Yes, Howard is one of the many examples of HBCU culture at large, and I think it's a beautiful example. And it just made sense to start here in DC because Howard, though again, I attended life on Howard's campus, it just informed so much about how I show up in the world. I mean, as her child, but quite literally walking the campus just changed my life. Seeing pictures of Debbie Allen, Felicia Rashad, and Ossie Davis, and Thurgood Marshall, like you're just like, huh? These are real people, and they walk this ground. Chadwick Boseman has a whole fine arts college, dedicated to him and his legacy because of how excellent he was. So yeah, it does breed so much excellence. And so, Dr. Williams, to date, we know that General Motors has helped contribute $1 million to the Thurgood Marshall College this is a long one. Thurgood Marshall College Fund Teacher Quality and Retention Program. Okay, here we go. So, Dr. Williams, we know that to date, General Motors has helped to contribute $1 million to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund Teacher Quality and Retention Program. But how can we get involved and really donate? And what do partnerships like General Motors and even in that specific program, how does that help to sustain what you all are trying to do with the Thurgood Marshall College Fund?
Well, General Motors, when they shared with us that they wanted to auction off a Corvette to the highest bidder, and that Corvette was one brand new car right off the show line, the car line, and it was one of a kind.
Wow.
And it went up to, and we were watching the bidding coming in, and it went right up to $1 million.
Incredible.
And so someone bid $1 million on it, and all of those dollars, and General Motors made this happen. All of those dollars came to the Thurgood Marshall College Fund, and we provided scholarships to our students attending our schools. So that $1 million, I'm telling you, those dollars, some of you may recall when you're in college, $500 was a lot of money. $500 was a lot of money. So if you get $500 or $1,000 to help you while you're in college, that can make the difference of you staying in school and then moving forward. So the partnership of General Motors and other corporations giving to HBCUs, that's critical to the success and helping to remove barriers, because we still have challenges financially in our community to pay for college. And that's why you need scholarships. So this is one example of a major corporation saying, yes, I want to invest, but But yes, I want to invest unrestricted so you can give those dollars to students in need from that perspective.
And did that fund undergraduate, graduate, continuing, medical, doctor, or was it?
It took care of primarily undergraduate students because, as you know, when those students are pursuing their first degree, and we still have a high percentage of students who will be classified as first generation college students.
Wow.
And when you're the first in your family breaking that cycle, there's a lot on you from that perspective. And we still have challenges financially in terms of families affording it. Majority of the students who attend HBCUs, over 90% of those students qualify for the Pell Grant, which is a federally funded program. That's an entitlement program. And if you qualify for that, that means your family income of 4 is less than $55,000 a year.
Wow.
Howard costs more than $55,000 a year. So you take
And I have Pell Grant.
and you take that.
Aware.
Just put your mind around that. Just put your mind around that. And you're trying to go to college, and you see that big number, it can discourage you from doing it. So by having the Thurgood Marshall College Fund to provide those scholarships and General Motors to provide resources and others, it makes a major difference in transforming the lives of these students.
So what about alumni who need help?
I'm not there. So where is the alumni, teacher retention, college student retention?
How generous is Gia? Let's test this out.
But no,
That's a good question.
but I've loved our conversation so much. Thank you all for the work you do. Thank you for the ways that you show up in the classroom, in the community, and in our HBCU culture at large. I mean, quite literally, we need more giants like you. You all each are giants in many ways. And I'm just so grateful that we were able to sit down, and we're going to eat now. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having
It's a
us.
pleasure.